Hello, yes, it is me. It is Jace at Retrogames, and here I am to talk to you about a new console. What are you doing, Jace? You don't do new stuff. Well, okay, I'm a retro gamer. I am the definitive retro gamer. That is what it looks like. And so I spend my life talking about old games and playing old games, but that does not mean I don't get excited about the new stuff. I have told you this many times. I do love new consoles and new games, and we have just seen the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. There it is, Nintendo Switch 2, and I just thought, well, everyone else is talking about it, and I know a lot of people watch this channel and think, yeah, Jace, I like listening to you talking about games, so I thought I'd give my two penneth, that's an English expression. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2. Was we excited? Were we even excited about the Switch 2? Well, not as excited as we normally are for a new Nintendo console. And really, the Switch is part of a story. That's why it's worth talking about. Even though it's new and it's not retro, it's worth talking about because it's part of a gaming story. Now, I'm a British gamer. I grew up with the ZX81, TV games, Atari, Spectrum, Commodore 64, Amiga, okay? In the UK, we were very computer-centric all the way through the 80s into the 90s. But then, suddenly, Nintendo wormed their way into our psyches with the SNES. Most of us didn't bother with the NES in the UK. So the SNES, and I remember, it's funny actually, I remember going to my friend's house who just imported a SNES, because it came out here about a year and a half after it came out in Japan. And I like, what's all the fuss about? And so, okay, I went around his house, my friend Bobby, and he put on his SNES, and I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, okay, and he's playing Mario. He played Super Mario World, which, I mean, everyone was playing that. And I thought, yeah, what's the big deal? On the Amiga, we've got Shadow of the Beast. Look at the parallax. It sounds ridiculous, but there I was at the time. It must have been early 90s, and I'm looking at his SNES thinking, Super Mario World is rubbish. Because I was so passionate about the Amiga and Commodore. So, yeah, it's a strange thing, but secretly, then he put in Pilot Wings. And I looked at it's got this rotational chip, and I looked at the way that it was, the way that the ground was coming up towards you as you're skydiving in Pilot Wings, and I thought, oh, okay, I don't think the Amiga can do this. This does look impressive. I didn't tell him, don't worry, I didn't tell him. I stayed loyal to the Amiga for as long as I could. But really, at that point, the SNES Nintendo had worked its way into the back of my mind, and it was only a matter of months before I got my own SNES and joined the throng of console gamers.
Hey, I'll have some of that.
And then we got to the N64, and oh my goodness, I was so excited for that console. I mean, I was excited for the PS1, but I was even more excited for a new Nintendo console, and there was so much hype around the N64 and all the games that came out for it. I had to get an import. I think my good friend Jenki sent me one from Japan, and it was just an unbelievable time when I played those first Nintendo 64 games. So yeah, at that point, well, Nintendo's in, and every single console that they've released since, I've got at launch. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure most of you guys have too, because it's part of our gaming story. And really, retro gaming is just us expressing our gaming story, isn't it? Where we grew up, what we did, why games were such an important part of our lives, and the junctions of our lives that we play particular games at. So, Nintendo Switch 2, you think, oh, I'm too old to be in this story. No, you're not. You're not too old to still be part of the story of the history of video games. And getting a Switch 2 means you're up there. You're up there. You're still going. You're still going. You didn't give up on gaming. Now, what did we think of the Switch 1? I remember, because the Wii, let's be honest, the Wii, we liked it to start with. That's a good summary, isn't it? The Wii. We liked it to start with. The Wii U, we liked it very briefly to start with. The novelty of the Wii U really wore off quick. So when the Switch came, it's like, oh, this is a great idea. They're gonna pull the 3DS team and the technical team who's making games. They're gonna pull the team making games for Wii U and the 3DS teams. They can both make games for the same console. We're going to get a lot more Nintendo content, and we did. We got a lot of fabulous first-party games, you know, 2 brilliant Zelda games. Yes, I know technically the Wii U also got Breath of the Wild, but we got some brilliant games on the Switch too, and let's be honest, it's been a phenomenon, hasn't it? It's been it's been a phenomenon because it sold. I think it must have blown Nintendo's expectations out of the water. Incredible sales. I mean, yeah, most popular console of all time. So how do they follow that up? Well, they did not. This is the thing. Why weren't we excited about the launch of Switch 2? Because they didn't take any risks, did they? They didn't take much risk. They made a Switch 2 that looks exactly like Switch 1, and that's not what we're used to from Nintendo. We're used to pushing the boundaries. In a way that is disappointing. But if it ain't broke and you've been that successful, can you blame them? And I just want to give you my little opinion on the Switch 2. I've been playing it solidly for the last couple of days, and I thought, well, now's the time. So yeah, let's just have a little look at it. Let me tell you what I think, and you can make your own opinion whether it's worth buying or not. Let's start with the price. In the UK, £430. That is the set it includes the Mario Kart. It seems expensive for a handheld. You've got, I mean, what's it going up against? Steam Deck? Is it going up against Steam Deck? I mean, all consoles have got expensive. The Xboxes and PlayStations have got expensive. It's to be expected. I don't think it represents terrible value for money. I think as long as we stay under that 500, yeah, and I'm sure it's absolutely, I mean, you know, it's selling like hotcakes. So at this point, yeah, not a problem, the price. I'm sure it will come down a bit. I think it will. There'll probably be, you know, like they did before, there'll be like a handheld compact version, you know, that you can't use on the TV. I'm sure there will be. And there'll be a cheaper option. I bet we get, in 2 years' time, there's a £199 version. I wouldn't be surprised, of the Switch 2. Which would be a bargain, absolute bargain. Anyway, let's just put the box on the camera. It's a beautiful box, very compact packaging. I think they did a great job. It looks fabulous. I mean, really, this is for people who are still on the fence. You haven't decided if you want to keep up with the console race. Maybe you've got PS5 already. You're thinking, I don't need a Switch, but you know, we've grown so fond of Nintendo. I mean, you only have to watch my Jason Japan show to see how Nintendo has become a massive part of my life. I think it's become a massive part of all our lives, as Sega did, as Commodore and Spectrum did. There's no denying it's a quality brand. They don't release stuff that they haven't thought about a lot. Even if it seems so similar to the old stuff, you know that they have put so many. I mean, let's talk about how long it's taken to get Switch 2. This must be the slowest release from Nintendo ever. This was expected 3 years ago. And they kept stopping it because the original Switch just wouldn't stop selling. And they're thinking, well, what's the point of releasing a Switch 2 when we are selling so many millions of the original Switch? And you can kind of understand that. But what I would have thought, if you've taken 3 years to finally get your Switch 2 out, you would have spent a lot of time developing games. All those teams developing new games for the Switch 2. Where are they? Yes, the Nintendo Switch launched with 2 new games, 2 first-party games, that is all.
So how does that compare to the launch games with previous Nintendo consoles in the UK? Well, the Nintendo NES launched with a staggering 17 first-party games. These included classics like Mario Brothers, Ice Climber, Kung Fu, Excite Bike, Duck Hunt, Wild Gunman and Clue Clue Land. Such a huge launch catalogue can be explained by the staggering 4-year gap between its Japanese Famicom release and the westernised NES version. For comparison, there was a 14-month gap between the Japanese Super Famicom and the UK SNES release, yet despite this extra development time, we only got 2 first-party releases at launch, F-Zero and Super Mario World. While there were 4 launch games for the N64 in 1996, only 2 were truly first-party, Super Mario 64 and Pilot Wings 64. The 2001 release of the Nintendo GameCube gave us 7 launch titles, but again only 2 were from Nintendo, Wave Race Blue Storm and Luigi's Mansion. In 2006, Nintendo served us up 3 games for the launch of the Nintendo Wii. The pack-in Wii Sports the second controller bundle Wii Play, and the seminal Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, I'd completely forgotten how awful the Wii U launch lineup was. Just 2 first-party games, the strangely dull Nintendo Land and New Super Mario Bros. U. Finally, the original Nintendo Switch, launched with 3 games: the puzzler Snipper Clips, party game 1-2 Switch, both completely overshadowed by the seminal Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Here it is then, the Switch 2. I've got it running with Mario Kart on. Yeah, it's bigger. It is considerably bigger. It is a lovely display on the handheld mode. You'll spend most of your time playing on the TV, I'm sure, but what a gorgeous thing. And of course, it's got these magnetic controllers, very cool. A little button to release them. You push this, just pushes the magnet, and then you get the controller off. And the controllers are very, very cool. They're bigger, they're more comfortable in your hand. Very nice. I can't complain about this. As a form factor, it's nice, it's thinner, it feels light, it feels a lovely texture, it's got a lovely smooth texture. It's got this new pull-out bar, which is it's metal, it will stand up properly, and you don't feel like it's going to fall over all the time. Listen to that click as it, well, that's nice. Same speakers underneath, but it is louder because they've boxed them up very cleverly to force the sound out clearer. Yeah, so that's the console. Just a little look at the accessories. There's the dock. It is a bigger dock. It's more curvy. It's got a nice little removable panel that comes off there for you to plug in your stuff. I think it looks nice. I don't know why they had to make it bigger, but it does feel a lot more sturdy on top of your Skybox. And they also include one of these dual grips that you just magnetically, oh beautiful, just plug the controllers into, turn into a proper controller. I think they did include one of these in Switch 1. I just cannot remember. It's been so long. Wow, it's been a long time since Switch 1. Okay, now there's only 2 games to talk about for the Switch 2. One is the Welcome Tour. Now this has been controversial because it costs £8 in the UK. It costs £8.
And unlike what other people are saying all over the internet about this game, I think it's an utter bargain. This is a fabulous piece of software. So here we are walking around one of the Joy-Con controllers on the very edge strip. And we're collecting these stamps. So these little spikes pop up and we have to get them stamped to move on to the next section. There's these little desks where you find out information, in-depth information about how the Switch 2 is made. Read the little card. You have to read all 4 of these and you get another little reward. It's full of little rewards, the whole game is. But what a brilliant way to find out about how the console was made and why it was made in the way it is. It's a bit like going to a museum and it's laid out like a big proper museum. Here I'm running across the screen, I'm going to skid and fall over. Here we go. Ooh, nice. Yeah, because it's a slidey screen, it makes sense. And there's little things to visit where you get demonstrations and you get to play with parts. One thing that strikes you almost immediately is how amazing the design is. I mean, it's a brilliant thumbs up to Nintendo because you think this console is an absolute wonder of engineering. I mean, you just can't help it. And in typical Nintendo style, they've managed to turn a tutorial into a really fun game. It's totally addictive. So I'm up to about 60 medals now. Yeah, I love it. There is mini games peppered throughout it that show you how different parts of the console work. A bit like some Wii games, there are 2 goals. To get both medals, you've got to do the really fast time. You can skim through and get 1 medal for the basic time, like this. Or you can't touch the edges, can't touch it in the pot. 5 seconds for 1 medal. I've got to get it in under 250 to get 2 medals. Unsurprisingly, they are well thought out mini games. They are fun, they are exciting. I spent about half an hour on this one trying to get a very impressive score. I'm not going to show you too much because I'm going to spoil it if you're going to get this yourself. But it's just amazing getting inside the console, understanding how all the different components work. It's just, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And we are gaming enthusiasts. And I think for people like us, this really is one of the greatest launch titles ever. Is that a bit, I think maybe you're thinking that's too, no, honestly, is that good. If you're into consoles and you collect consoles, you'll quickly agree that all new consoles should have a virtual museum title like this at launch.
Another thing I should just mention, the Nintendo Switch 2 is the first console from Nintendo which is not region friendly, and that's to do with the online store. You cannot connect a Japanese Switch 2. So if you're thinking of getting an export console, you're thinking, oh, that's okay, I'll pick one up when I'm on holiday, or I'll get one cheaper from US or Japan. You won't, because you cannot connect onto Nintendo services with any console that's out of your region. And the Japanese Switch 2 is actually cheaper than the British or the American one. They get a better deal than us, fair enough. Which is a shame. Compatibility issues. I think there is going to be some compatibility issues with Kart too, because obviously if you buy out of your region, it's a shame because there's this legacy of Nintendo collecting. People still buy Super Famicom games or Famicom games to play on their hardware here. And even if you got yourself a Japanese Switch 2, you're not going to be able to play Japanese games because you can't log in, you can't register it. It won't let you play. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to play import games on an import machine in the UK, which is, it's a bit strange. It's a strange for the legacy of Nintendo as a collectible.
Where's the Sega from?
And the second game, of course, is the new Mario Kart. Now, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, this isn't retro, Jay. It's not retro. Don't talk to me about this. Yes, but Mario Kart is, isn't it? Mario Kart is a game we grew up with, isn't it? From the 90s right till now, there has always been Mario Kart, and I've loved every version of Mario Kart. It was one of the games, I mean, I can remember trying to get, on my UK SNES, trying to get an import USA version of Mario Kart to work with a big adapter and your action replay. I think it cost me over £100 to play the US version of Mario Kart on a UK SNES with the adapters. But I was prepared to pay it, and I was glad because I spent literally 3-4 months playing Mario Kart and getting into it. And then subsequently all the versions, you know, the N64 version, fantastic, the Game Boy versions, the DS versions, the Switch version, you know, even the Wii versions, the Wii U version. It's been brilliant, it's been an epic ride, and there is without doubt, there has been no Mario Kart quite as good as this one.
Okay, let's build this up. I'm not going to include the handheld versions like the 3DS or the Game Boy, but this is the original console version, the Super Nintendo Mario Kart. Then the incredible What Happened to the Coins Mario 64, which introduced all the 4-player modes and the battle modes for the first time. The slightly odd Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, which gave you a passenger on the back to play around with. Some people loved the Wii version because of those hold it in the air steering wheel controllers. I never really liked those. Mario Kart 8, originally for the Wii U and then updated and HDified for the Nintendo Switch. So are you ready for the next installment in this classic franchise? Here we go. Wow, okay, instantly you can see it is a massive step up graphically. So much detail, so much draw distance. You can see 4 miles, absolute miles. This is a little bit reminiscent of the intro to Disney Pixar's Cars, a little bit. But yeah, look at the stunning graphics. Huge grid, 24 karts, loads of characters I didn't know who the hell they were. Go! And you've probably seen this on loads of other channels and you know all about this game and what you're talking about it for, Jace. I know, it's a new game, but isn't it amazing? The more I play it, the more I feel it is a work of art. The level of detail, the mad panic to grab weapons and grab coins and work your way to the front only to find that you're going to get blue shelled just before you cross the line. It's all there. I mean, everything we love about Mario Kart is there. There's shortcuts, battle modes, multiplayer, there's a new knockout mode. For some reason the game does feel even more frantic and crazy if you are playing 4 players, whether that's just the little cube-sized screens that you're playing on, but the game just seems really hard in 4-player compared to 2-player or 1-player. There is also this open world mode. You can drive around and cruise about and take photos and talk to people. I have not played any of that yet. Not really my bag. I've been playing this as a standard Mario Kart game, going through the 150cc Grand Prix, trying to get to the 200cc, exploring, opening up all the levels. You earn tons of new characters, new karts as you play. It's always giving you rewards. It's always giving you something every time you play. Now, I'm not going to spoil it too much if you haven't played it yet, but just check this level. Now, this is as close as I've got to Wave Race since the GameCube. It's incredible. The water, the waves. I love this section. I love the water levels. Don't you think that is stunning? Yeah, they really are. You are swayed against the currents. It's just a brilliant, genius level. And really, that attention to detail, that really does sum up what this game is about. It's without doubt miles ahead the best version of Mario Kart that's ever been made. And with that, it's probably one of the greatest games Nintendo have ever made. Yeah, now, do you feel silly? Do you feel silly for dissing the Switch 2 when you could be playing one of the greatest games Nintendo's ever made? I mean, yeah, sure, okay. I'm sure a lot more work went into Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch, which is an absolutely incredible game too. So yeah, it's really hard to compare a racing game to something like that. But still, this is just a work of genius, and I just think you'd be crazy to miss this, especially if you play with your kids or any family time you want something to play. This is the one.
Here's my rare extra long Switch 2. So there we have it. That is a little talk about a new console. It's not something I do very often, but when Nintendo launch a new console, it's something to get excited about, and so I did. I got excited. I'm going to go back and play it now because I'm still loving it. I know 2 games, but what can I say? They're good games. They're good games, and I'm sure there's going to be some amazing stuff coming out. So yeah, it's a big thumbs up from Jace. Get your Switch 2 if you haven't already got one. If you can find one, if you don't pay £900 for one. But get one. Actually, very cruel of Nintendo forcing you to play hundreds of hours on your Nintendo account to be able to pre-order the Switch 2. That is pretty mean. Sets a precedent I don't really like. That's controlling. It's controlling. You've got to play our console this long, or that's it. And it was in the last year as well, and a lot of people have stopped playing Switch. You know, maybe not as much as they used to. You know, what can you say? So that was pretty mean, but also very fair. So it's tricky. Oh, Nintendo, why? But I don't like the precedent that sets. You know, use the old thing that we made, or you're not getting the new one. I just think, oh, that's a bit, you know, human right. It's against my human rights. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, happy retro gaming, retro gamers.
Check out our Friday night show for more stuff just like this.